I'm John Lazarus with Stories Matter and D&E Publishing. In these videos, I usually give you samples of my and other famous authors' writing to guide and model good practices for a writer to have. But I find that for beginning writers, it's often better to give examples of terrible writing so you can see if it matches up with your own work. And I think that you'll find it often does. But even though this video will mostly be me berating you for being awful at something you love, try not to take it personally. Look, writing isn't easy. Sure, it's not as difficult as math, or engineering, manual labor, face-to-face interactions, or mild exercise, or a million other things you're also terrible at, but it's not easy. However, I must warn you that this video may not be easy on your psyche. You're really going to have to grasp with your failure. So grab a comfort object like a stuffed animal, a block of cheese, or a cherished girly magazine, and strap in. But before all that, let's have a word from our sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by Pioneer Consulting. Are you a small business owner? Of course you're not. You're watching writing tutorial videos at home alone with a block of comfort cheese. But it's not too late for you. Pioneer Consulting offers market research, business model analysis, and hostile takeover simulations for startup businesses. Not only will they show you how to corner your market and provide innovative solutions to managerial problems, they'll also show you how to pretend you know anything substantial about AI. Also, their executive training package will provide effective ways for upper management to deny sexual assault allegations. Call Pioneer Consulting today for more information. Alright, in today's video, we'll look at 4 common mistakes that new authors make when starting a story. And then we'll look at 5 quick fixes to these problems. Mistake 1. Starting before the beginning. What do I mean by this? Well, instead of starting at the beginning, many novice writers begin where they think the beginning should begin, which actually begins before the beginning. Let me give an example. Tristram Shandy is a failed novel, where the birth of the main character doesn't happen until the 3rd volume of the story. As a general rule, your character should at least be born by the end of the first paragraph. But John, you might be saying, this isn't the 1670s and I'm not suffering from some waterborne pathogen that has destroyed my higher reasoning. I'm not going to make a mistake like that. Well, not so fast there. When I tried to run my own publishing company, I couldn't tell you how many manuscripts I'd get that started with a character eating a bowl of cereal or driving to an abortion clinic. That's why I quickly got out of the publishing industry. Well, that and I didn't realize I had to fill out a whole bunch of other tax forms besides my 1040. Quick fix. Start at the beginning. Don't start with a character eating cereal. Start with a piece of cereal getting lodged down their throat. Don't start with a character on their way to an abortion clinic. Start with them on their back on the operating table, spread eagle, nervously sweating as the knife swings down toward them. If you're not sure where the beginning is, I've always found it's best if someone dies, has died, or is near death on the first page. Mistake 2. Introducing 30 or 40 characters. We don't need to know who begat who begat who. It's tedious. This is why nobody actually reads the Bible, and instead pretends they did so they can still shove their beliefs down others' throats. But also, nobody likes meeting large groups of people. That's why before I left the workforce permanently, I always pretended I had horrible diarrhea at every work orientation and I would just sit in the bathroom and read on my phone. Plus, depending on the genre you're writing in, you might have to expect that your reader is pretty dumb. In fact, all of the following genres should assume their reader didn't choose a book on quantum mechanics for a good reason. Quick fix. If you have a large group of characters, massacre them on the first page. Now, again, you might have to do this differently depending on the genre, but even if it's young adult, there's ways to imply death without getting too gory or disturbing. Perhaps all the characters just vanish during a game of hide and seek. You make it work. Mistake 3. Making the reader feel dumb. Fun fact, people who buy books for themselves because they love to read are actually only the 4th largest demographic of book buyers. The 3rd largest is people looking for ways to make easy money. 2nd is people forced to buy books by religious organizations. But 1st is actually people buying them as a gift because they couldn't think of anything else. As a writer, put yourself in that reader's shoes. You don't really want to read this book, but you're worried your friend or significant other that gave you the book might ask you about it, and you don't think you'll be able to pretend that you read it. So, if you open the book and the first paragraph has words like abstemious or goad, You're gonna give up, scroll through 3 hours of memes on your phone, and hope there's a good synopsis on Goodreads. Quick fix. Dial down the Flowery language. Another fun fact. Great writers aren't all that smart. Dan Brown failed high school English. Burroughs thought it was a good idea to shoot an apple off his wife's head. And a bunch of them didn't even realize cigarettes are bad for you. So don't pretend you're something you're not. Write like an idiot. You'll make a whole lot more money that way. Mistake 4. Starting with dialogue, description, backstory, poetry, quotes, dream sequences, or most kinds of action. If you've ever started a story with one of these, might as well delete it from the internet like it were revenge porn. Don't be discouraged. Starting a story is difficult, and all writers have to go through this stage. I mean, I've had prostitutes who are willing to suck me off, but whom I couldn't even pay to read my early short story collection. But what can I say? Tacky overused quotes, cliched trauma backstories, and it was all a dream shenanigans make people feel cheap. Cheaper than getting reamed in a roadside motel along an Oklahoma State highway. Quick fix. Forget everything you know about literature. Empty your mind. Forget every book you've ever read because you're just going to end up copying one and you're coming off like a cliche. But where do you get your inspiration? Well, I go out and experience a story in real life. Push a stranger on the street and see what happens. Your story might be right there. The inspiration for Roy Won't Come Back Tonight happened after I knocked down an old lady at the bus stop, and then apologized, walked her home, and listened to her tell me about the story of her dead husband. That's all for today. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll leave you with this week's This Day in Literary History. See you on the next one.